Alright, in this video I'm going to be quickly showing you how to install several mods to improve Battlefront 2 and remaster it, basically. So it has a bunch of mods and then there's a 1.3 patch that you'll need. So to get started, I'm just going to show you what my game has. If you want to skip this part, just go like a minute in or something. But basically you'll have your fresh install of the game, which you need to have. You don't want to have a modded version, make sure it's just a fresh install. So as you can see, we got this. On Steam, it'll be version 1.1. If you have a CD version, you're going to need to download 1.1 patch just because it makes everything run a lot smoother. So make sure to get that if you have the CD version. If you have Steam, you're already all set up. So as you can see, it's low resolution at the menu. Just keep note of that because we're going to fix that later. So the first mod we're going to get is the... sorry, ignore that. So this is the folder of stuff. The first thing you really want to do is patch it to 1.3. So we have the most recent one for Steam, which is R130. If you don't have Steam version, then you can you could still use this, I think. But if you run into issues, then I would recommend just using the R129, which is the most recent version before that. But this should work fine. So select your Battlefront 2 game. As you can see, the default pathway does not have the Steam one. It just has to the game folder. So just do that for Steam. Make sure there's nothing at the end. Hit install, and then we're good to go. Okay, and then I'm going to quickly run the game just to make sure it works. You'll also notice that in the top right, it's still going to say version 1.1 regardless of what it is. So I can tell this worked because it has this in the bottom left. And also, if I load into a game, I just want to show you guys beforehand of the mod, or beforehand with just vanilla, and then after what the game will look like. So you'll notice I have fake console, free camera all here. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna quit out of this, but you can see that 1.3 patch is working because it has the in-game console thing, fake console. So in the next mod we're going to get is Battlefront 2 Remaster. So what this does is this improves the, it fixes sounds, bugs, glitches, and it makes the main menu HD. So remember to do expert mode so that you can change the pathway. So just click next to this, you can see some other changes. And then you're going to want to just follow my pathway if you have Steam. Again, if you have the other version, you're just going to want to go to the LucasArts folder and do the same thing. So common, and then Star Wars Battlefront 2. And in this particular installer, it wants us to do the game data. So some of them will just have you do the main root, and some of them will just have you do the actual game data. So we have game data, nothing at the end, so it's going to work fine. Next, install. And then there we go. Now, while we're here, what it does is it will create, this is on my desktop, it will automatically create a Battlefront 2 EXE by the mod creator. Now, if you want to just be able to run the game normally, because instead of having to use his, you're going to want to go to properties. So basically, if you ran it this way, the HD would not work, but if you used his EXE, it would work. So what you want to do is just go to Set Launch Options, put this command in. Steam syntax is actually the dash, but I found that either way works. So then go here, and then I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. And then also, this applies to the shortcut if you have that on your desktop of the actual game. You can still use that. So it has a little bit different pictures in the background, and it's much better quality. It also adds in some quick settings, which I want to go over quickly because some people might be confused. AI heroes will be on by default, so make sure to do no if you don't want that. Hero voices are on. Map colors you want to put on, and then award stuff off. This is right now. Just do these settings on or off, on, off. I find that's the best combo to go with. So now that we have that, we can quickly, if I go to my games, if you do for some reason have the old icon, the really low quality one, you can see it right here, then all you're going to want to do is just go to the desktop icon, or this actually, this works too. Whoops. Or no, it doesn't actually. Sorry about that. It's easier just to do this. Let's close out of that. And then you go to change icon, copy and paste, and then copy and paste. Okay, and then you will have the new icon that's in HD quality. And some of you might have to do that step. So now we're going to get onto the quality, or I guess graphics updates. So the first one we have is improve sides. So this one is just going to change the vehicles, people, first-person cockpits, much more. It's adding a lot of stuff that's cool. So all you go is to data, level PC, and then you have these two folders. If you want to keep backups, you can do that, but this, for what I do, is I just created a whole copy of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 folder, and so I can just switch out Battlefront 2 folders depending on which one I want to use. I'll show you in a second. Is there... That's not going to show... Okay, yeah, here. So if you go to my common on Steam apps, I actually have a bunch of different versions. I like to keep it organized. This is the current one being edited if it's just Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then you can have your, maybe you want to have a conversion pack one, and you just do copies of the whole game. Normally you don't want to do this with other games because it would take a lot longer, but Battlefront 2 is not a huge game. If you have a good computer, you can easily just make a copy. Keeps things organized. So we're almost done here with the improved sides, and the next thing we're going to want to do is click replace, which will just take a second, and then we can do the shader mod. This one is optional. I think some people don't want to change the lighting or colors, but this really does make it look better in my opinion. It's up to you. It's up to whatever you prefer. So just drag this into your game data folder now instead of your data, just game data. And then also remember to turn anti-aliasing off in settings because it'll make the shaders run perfectly. Then now the last step to remaster your game is the maps. So in this you're going to want to go back to your data folder, level PC, and this is a step that takes a while. So what you can do is highlight all the maps, and then, so I'm going to have a link in the description, and before I do this, 2 of the maps are realistic versions, which means they have added props and models that make them much more accurate to the movies, and I definitely recommend them, but it sacrifices online compatibility for these maps only, so you can still play online on the other maps. But if you want to play online, don't get these ones, just get the normal redone versions, which will just be called res. These are all, he calls them res maps, and then these ones are realistic. So that's one thing to note, but other than that, you're going to have to download each map individually, which really kind of sucks. But it's alright, they're large files, so I understand why I did that, because then you can update one at a time much more easily. So download every map in the link, it's a whole list of them, and then these are the only ones he has completed so far. I think there's a new one coming out next week, and he plans to do all of them. So all you do is just do extract here. It's going to take like a minute, probably, yeah, and I won't wait for it all to finish, I'll just start right now, but basically, each folder is going to have a README and then a name.level, and so all you need to do is just go to the corresponding folder in your level PC, and then you just drag and replace. Now I'm not going to do it because it's just going to take a while, but that's basically all you have to do. You just, and then once you would do that, delete your Hoth, and then do Camino, drag into your KAM, and then I'm just going to skip that, but then you would just keep doing that and go all the way down the list, delete them as you go to keep organized. I like to keep backups, so that's why I still have the zips, but you can delete everything in here once you're done, and then leave it in your level PC folder. And another thing is, if you want to have backups, again, this is another perfect time to do that, because before you do this, because if you go too far and you modify the skins and the maps and you don't have backups, you're not going to be able to have the originals unless you reinstall your game. So you want to remember to do that, unless you're like me and you just have multiple versions. I have a vanilla backup, so I'm all good. So yeah, if anything doesn't work, just comment in the description. I'll try to help you, or comment below, and I'll try to help you out. And if you do run into like a huge issue that makes it like not work at all, then just delete everything and try it again, or just reinstall and you're going to have to play vanilla. Now this is an extra part of the video I'm going to include. You don't have to do this, but there's some other mods that are compatible with this. So if you do Battlefront 3 Legacy, this works perfectly fine. You can tell if mods are compatible or not if they replace each other's files. So this one adds new maps, and it adds a few new scripts, and then some audio and stuff. So the thing you need to know is if you're installing Battlefront 3 Legacy, copy everything over except do not replace the custom GC if you want the home screen to work. So I don't know what the Battlefront 3 Legacy home screen looks like. I don't know if he changed it. I assume he did. But if you want to keep this HD high resolution, cool looking thing with the obviously if you go to options with the remaster option, you need to get rid of this custom GC. So that's the one thing you need to do. Other than that, it's 100% compatible. You can play Battlefront 3 maps with all the graphics improved and the nice menu in the settings. Now the next mod that's also compatible is Clone Wars Era mod. It's version 1.0. So the same thing here. It's just gonna take forever. Okay. Drag the game data just into here, and this time you can include everything. It's gonna replace a little bit of stuff actually, but from the skins improved mod, but it's okay. This one basically changes the Clone Wars legions to fit each map, and it slightly changes the classes. This is not multiplayer compatible as far as I know, so this is a single player mod if you want to have accurate clone legions. And then last but not least, there's a patch to it just to fix something. I guess there's a bug, and make sure to get the patch. So that's going to be it for the video. Basically, in summary, we got the 1.3 patch, we got the 3 different kinds of remasters, we got shaders, skins, and maps, and then we also had a quick Battlefront 2 remaster for the menu. So that's 5 mods total, and then we had the extra Clone Wars Era mod, and then we also had the Battlefront 3 Legacy mod. You can do one or the other, or none. It depends what you want to do. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have fun with this.